They gonna be like, wait a minute.
It says we're live, Miss
Hold
Donna.
up. Let me get some.
What's up, my man?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
All
man?
right. We are getting ready to start the Donna Smith Show live, you guys. Oh my goodness. And this is how we do it on the Donna Smith Show.
I gotta say, you looking
On the Donna Smith Show. And this is how we do it on the Donna Smith Show. Yeah. What's up, my grown folks? Up in here.
What's good, everybody?
Hey.
for you, girl.
Man, I got my panel here today that has joined us. I am just so wonderfully thankful. I got Mr. Zoom user. I guess he got his name incognito for a reason, and he has Honey with him. Okay, say hi to Honey, everybody. Hi, Honey.
Hi, honey.
Mr. Smith, Jay Shepard, Gareth, Mr. Timothy Mims, and myself, your hostess with the mostest. How's everybody doing today? And of course, my YouTube viewers that are viewing this right now live, and wherever you at, if you're in your living room, your car, on your sofa, outside with Honey, I don't whatever's a good
outside
spot.
with Honey.
You know what I'm saying? We just love to have you. Thank you. And you know, before we get started on the show, we do have to start off with our toast to the hostess with the mostest. And everybody, you got a Zoom user, you got a glass, a cup, or something?
I'm gonna be right back.
Okay, hurry. He's silly. Yeah, we gonna wait on Brian. Oops. Zoom user to go get his toasty up. Gareth been ready. He been ready. What you got? I need to. Okay. Gareth, that's that sparkling water, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right. That's healthy. That's safe. That's what's up. Dasani. Yeah, that's a good one too. If that's what's in the bottle. Mr. Zoom user, what you got? Well, you got it.
Got a little bit of coffee Patron. I've been
that's a coffee Patron?
Yeah.
Where you get that
At your local liquor store, baby.
Are you serious? I ain't never seen no coffee Patron.
Yes.
All right, let's toast it up, everybody. Go. 1, 2, 3. Toast it up to your host. Mr. Timothy Mims, where are you?
Going back to my... Hold on, I'm just now getting back to my computer. I told you I had my headset on.
My finger hurt.
Huh?
My finger hurt.
Here I come. I just got to my computer.
Oh,
Where my
Lord. You guys excuse us. It's always...
I just got here.
Okay, where is it?
It's right here.
Who's that lady behind you? Okay, toast it. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah.
Click. All right.
Mm-hmm. And this is how we do it on the Donna Smith Show. On the Donna Smith Show. Yes, welcome everybody. We are here on this lovely Sunday, and let's just go ahead on and welcome everybody to the panel, and also to mention that our topics that we are going to discuss tonight or any night is not intended to offend or hurt anyone's feelings. They are just grown folk topics. Everyone's opinion counts. You who are viewing, please type, whatever it is you want to ask or what you feel. Also, if something is not for you, just kind of pass that one on by. I'm quite sure we're going to talk about something that's going to hit home some kind of way, okay? So we do welcome you, and I am definitely delighted to be here this evening. I want to say that I got confused because the time changed, and I thought everybody else was confused too, because nobody had clicked on when they?
Oh no, I was cooking, so I was kind of rushing
Oh, okay.
to
But
get
then
to
it was
the.
me. I was on the wrong Zoom link, so
Mhm.
nobody could get on. But I'm here, y'all. What's happening? What's
Yes.
going on? What's happening, panel? Y'all
What's
good?
happening?
I'm over here
What's happening,
chilling.
baby?
Good.
Well, I want to welcome everybody, but I do want to welcome Mr. Zoom user because he's one that dips in and out and come and join us from time to time. But I love him. He's my dear heart. He's funny. He's always giving some real talk and adding some good input. I welcome you, my brother. This is the first time you on the show this year, 2022.
That's right. I think it may have been a year and a half. It was my Eagles was playing like the Vikings maybe a year and a half. And
Yeah, during a game.
yeah, and I had a couple people here at my house, and everyone wants to come over when my team is playing. My team lose, but
Well, did your team lose on that day?
I can't remember.
But I wanted to give you, I gave you your props because you came in the garden setting like you're doing. No, you snuck outside somewhere. I don't know where you were, but you went outside and you gave us a moment, and you doing that today. But you got Honey with you, and I want you guys to know Honey is his dog there. So if he says Honey, don't get it twisted. He ain't calling you Honey. Okay, we don't want.
Old bulldog, and I'm live and direct from Manteca, California.
Manteca. Wow.
Okay.
Well, just to share, you're from Manteca. I think everybody's from the Bay except JJ is all the way zooming in from Colorado.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I am from the Bay, but
originally Bay Area, but he's in Colorado now.
I'm in Colorado.
Residing, and
Yes.
it's snowing out there. I think.
Actually, the snow melted, so we're good. It's clear. It's been clear skies all week.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
he does come in and help us bring in this. And also, how are you guys? Before we get into, if you have anything to share, what's happening with daylight savings time? Everybody, turn your clocks forward. Are you good?
I use my phone. I don't have an actual clock anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. But for those who don't, I remember back in the day, I used to just wait a few days to set it. I didn't care. I would just know that it was an hour ahead or an hour behind, and I would just know to
spring forward.
Right. I just know that it's not on time. Right. Eventually, I said it, but we don't have to really worry about that too much now that we got our phones. But I did hear that they're talking about getting rid of it in certain states. They don't feel like it's necessary anymore.
Right.
So
some states, I don't think it's gonna happen for us, but you notice right before the daylight start changing, it starts getting dark a little later and this and that. And I like this time. I wish they would just leave it like this. I like it to be daylight longer. What hits you is gonna hit me is tonight at midnight when I'm like this.
Right.
Because I'm thinking it's 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of hits you that morning, that Monday morning is when some of us feel it that have to get up. God bless y'all who don't have to get up in the morning.
Yes. All of y'all that work from home.
Okay. Yeah. Unless you want to. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who's still working?
Yeah. What you say?
Who's still working from home?
Oh, I'm
not working from home with what I do. I can't.
Since before the pandemic. So
you at home, JJ?
Yes, I stay at home.
You at home, Mr. Mims?
Yeah.
Benjamin?
Nope.
You not at home. I'm not at home. Gareth, you at home?
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all, is that good? Cool. Y'all like that? Is this all right?
Am I?
I don't have to deal with gas, and I don't have to deal with traffic, and I don't have to deal with workplace culture. So there's a lot of benefits to that, working from home. You kind of lose the socialization a little bit, but working from home seems to be better and more financially feasible, especially during these times.
Especially here in the Bay Area. Let me tell y'all, I went to Costco thinking that I was going to get some cheaper gas. I must have had a little bit between half and a fourth. I wasn't quite down at a fourth. I was in the middle there. it was almost $60 to fill up my car, and it wasn't even on E.
What kind of car you got?
I have a Hyundai Sonata.
Mhm.
And I put a lot of miles on it. You know, I drive every day all the way to Oakland from out here. And that's a nice little back and forth. But it cost me $57 and some odd cents to fill it up. The toll has went up to $7.
Mhm.
What, on the Bay Bridge?
Going across the Carquinez, I take 680 and I go across, what is that? Is that the Carquinez or whatever bridge that is? I don't know which one
Benicia,
that is.
Uh,
Which one is it?
Benicia,
The Benicia Bridge.
the Bernicia Bridge.
But the
yeah.
Bay, the Carquinez, the Benicia, and I think did the
And the
Bay
Bay.
Bridge,
and
the
the
Bay
Bay is
Bridge go up
The
more
Bay-
than
the Bay-
$7?
no, it's 7 all day now. You know, it used to have like the commute time and
Uh-huh.
then the non-commute, I mean, toll. Now it's just 7 all day.
Yeah, they did that
Okay.
ready for, get you used to the big the $7 that's eventually gonna come. They were
Yeah.
always gonna do that, but they're gonna
Mm.
sneak in there
They
one way.
say that their goal is to get it up to 10. I think the Golden
Mhm,
Gate,
that's what I
somebody
heard.
told me the Golden
The
Gate
Golden
was
Gate is the
15.
most expensive. Oh,
Do
I
you
Yeah,
got
the Golden Gate was
I don't
15.
think it's 15. I
you
would
got
have crossed there, and I mean, I would have seen that on my
On your fast track?
advantage because the way I keep track,
I
I
had to
only
tell Fast Track to be cool because I was letting them replenish it, out of my account. And they have you at a threshold based on, how
how
much
much you
you
use the
use it.
bridge.
So like every 2 weeks, they was putting $100 and some, on it coming out of my account because they don't want you to go under 60 or whatever it was. And I said, oh no, hold up. Y'all gonna have to, be easy. Let me put it on there when I need to. I don't want y'all doing that no more. And I had to learn that because, I'm like, so now they send you all these texts and emails saying your balance is low or whatever. Don't cross the bridge, whatever that mess they saying. But it's ridiculous.
Mhm.
So when you talk about the commute and all the money that's putting out, people you would think is not going to be driving as much, but people are still on the roads. I guess it's just more convenient and you just choosing where you drive now. You're just not doing a lot of recreational driving outside of your commute and I know Manteca is extremely far too, if you have to come into the Bay,
every day I got to come in from Manteca to Livermore, and no matter where you live, you can expect to be in traffic at least an hour. My threshold for traffic is about an hour and 15 minutes when it's really, really bad.
Wow.
If I leave work and for whatever reason there's a big accident, it's at a standstill, I just go to a restaurant in downtown Livermore and treat myself. So,
and let it die down. Okay.
It's only been once or twice in which, it was bad until 10 o'clock at night, and I just
Wow.
find an alternative route. But,
So
traffic
do you take 80 or do you take which way do you come?
here in Manteca, I live near 120. I take
120.
120 to 5 to 205, and then 205 turns into 580.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
really
it takes me about an hour from Fairfield to Oakland. So we doing about the same, it takes you about an hour, you said, on a good day.
Yeah. You know what though? Dude, we got in the course of us working every day, everything's not gonna be perfect. Every day is not gonna be pristine. And I always tell myself, even on horrible traffic days, it's just an hour. As long as I got some good music playing, I got some Isleys, I got a little traveling music
Yeah.
library and whatnot. But it there's been worse situations, and there's always somebody else who's doing far worse than me. So let me do what I got to do to go make this money.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, Brian, for real. Because it is always somebody doing worse. I know people coming from Stockton to Oakland, where I work, and they got, man, that Altamont I heard is a beast. They going through it coming from Stockton. Woo.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. The Altamont is no joke.
Yeah. And it's only what? It's only 2 lanes or something, or one. I don't know, but it's something about it that backs it up every single day.
It's after 12 o'clock when you're going up that little mountain to go toward Manteca, that everyone is trying to get out. It used to be the secret, get there before 1 o'clock.
Okay.
That place is backed up at 11:30. I'm like, where y'all fools at? Y'all supposed to be at work.
Oh no.
It is what it is,
Yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do while we gotta do it,
right.
Until we get that big ticket to do something else what we ain't even got, you know what I'm saying? But until you get the big ticket, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I envy y'all that work from home. I in my line of work, I don't have that opportunity, but I'd really like to see what it's about, but I'd like to save some, like my man mentioned, I'd like to try that, that'd make it that much less stressful, but it is what it is.
Well, I know somebody who did it for a little while, and she just absolutely it was just horrible because her socialization, like JJ said, had just diminished because you don't even really have to get dressed from the bottom down. You really ain't got to get dressed. Actually, she wasn't on she was on the phone.
Yeah.
So she a lot of times was just kind of lounging with it. You can just roll out of the bed, wipe your face a little bit and get ready and get your coffee and do your thing. But, it just it made the day more lazier because even when that ended, you didn't want to go out and do nothing. You just wanted to get ready for the next day all over again. So she ended up getting out of that. She was like, nah, I can't do that. I gotta be in the office around people.
Yes, the socialization of it all is very important. Some companies have done where they, after work, they'll do like a Zoom wine type of get together with the coworkers where, at around 6:30, you have your dinner ready and you have your wine and y'all socialize like that from home. That was when they were shutting everything down. I don't know if they're still doing that, but I think the quarantine has brought out a lot of good ideas as far as working from home, but we are social beings, so it is important to connect with people.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So with that being said, find your way to socialize the best way you can. If you got to work at home, do it outside of the hours of work or on the weekend. Just go on and get some of that coffee. What you drinking over there? Zoom user? Coffee.
Cafe Patron.
Yeah, Cafe Patron. I like to have some. Let me write that down because I want to try that. That's probably some good stuff. So moving right along, you guys know anybody who want to go to Hawaii, they've lifted the COVID restrictions in Hawaii now. As of March 26th, which is around the corner. I went during the summer of this year, and it was all these restrictions was off the chart. But the governor announced that they will drop the mask mandate and be the final state to drop the masking rules. They're the final state, okay? So there's no more COVID tests, vaccination proof, or quarantine. You can just fly on into Hawaii now.
They're missing that money.
And fly back home. So I know Hawaiian Airlines is going to be happy about that. Because folks is going to be going to Hawaii now. So I just thought I'd share that. Nice place to go. Real tropical, real nice, real peaceful. I hope I go back soon again. Okay. So we need to, is it anything that before I move on to my inquiring minds want to know? Anything you guys want to share? Anything on your mind? Anything that you may have encountered during your week or your day or your weekend that you thought would be great to share with the grown folks somewhat? Ben, do you have on some glasses?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Here we go. So if y'all don't have nothing to share, I understand that too. If everything just mellow fellow for you and it's just been business as usual, that's fine. But if you want to, anything interesting you want to sprinkle?
There was something I was going to say, but I can't even remember now.
Well, it can't be that important, Mr. Mims, if you can't remember.
Wait, no. Because I can't remember it.
That's messed up, Miss Donna.
I mean, it got to be important, Mr. Mims.
Yeah, but I'm dealing with this memory.
Oh, that's right. My bad, my brother. Well, if it comes back to you in the course of our show, just let me know.
I'm gonna write it down.
And you can bring it on. Garuth, you good? Everything cool with you? You good? Zoom user, you good?
I'm good, girl.
You good, hey? And you know what, me and you got to get together too, because you that book. We gotta. I need to work with you. You still want to do that?
I told you. I got stories to tell. I'm 56.
Yeah, we need to.
I got them.
We need to talk and put something in print, writing with your life stories and everything. Mr. JJ right here did the cover of my book I put out, and I'm trying to work on something else right now. I have to determine which way I want to go with it, but yeah, he's real good at that kind of stuff. Actually, that was his first time doing a book cover, and boy, did we have.
That's true.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Oh, it was the dimensions. That's all it was.
It's just the certain dimensions and format and stuff. You have to go back and forth with them to submit, and it made it a trying experience, but we got it done. But we got to do that. I said moving forward that it's time to stop saying what we want to do and what we gonna do and start doing what we need to do, because
absolutely
the way the times are today and what's going on, tomorrow's not promised, and you put stuff on the back burner or something drastic happened in your life where you can't do it anymore, you're gonna wish you had it. So when something is in your mindset, and it don't matter how long it takes, just start taking steps to make it happen,
At least
so we gotta work on that. I don't know. We gotta get together and figure out how we gonna do a strategy. We can Zoom it for a minute and talk about it, but I'll definitely hit you up.
Well, it's real interesting that you mentioned that. Reggie passed away about a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
And that still, me and him had talked about, and we were kind of like in the beginning stages of writing a screenplay, and it was just based on a bunch of his funny experiences and just a bunch of my funny experiences, and it was kind of like a remake of Cooley High. Cooley High happens to be my ultimate favorite movie, and all except for the end. I don't like to get to the end because I have yet, over 40 some years, I have yet to be able to watch that movie and not cry during the last 3 dang minutes of the dang movie.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of like redo it. Me and Reggie talked about it, and we wanted to make it a whole lot more funnier. And unfortunately, my man passed away. So, and I left a bunch of material with him, and I miss him. He was a good dude, just a good.
Yeah, and he so did he suddenly pass away or was he ill?
He suffered a stroke. He had that type of thing.
Yeah, wow. So may he rest in peace. It's about bringing those creative minds together, screenplays, short, films, stuff like that outside of the realm of a book. You could start in a level of a book, or you could start with just writing down your thoughts and this and that, and then trying to connect and contact the right people to develop it on a different level, like you said, on the level of Cooley High or something like that, just bringing something back. Because I know you got a lot of you got a lot of stuff. I got some stuff too, but I know you got a lot of stuff, and
that's what the brother's saying.
Probably
just get started.
Would be a great success.
One of my biggest regrets and biggest fears is suddenly leaving this earth, like a lot of people are, without having accomplished. I've accomplished enough for me. But there are still stories that I believe our generation need to tell for the next generation or the next generation after that, to at least hear, and it's going to reach somebody, and therefore it's going to inspire them. So I'm just looking to do something like that. Your kids only listen so much to you.
That's right. That's right. You are absolutely right, because they think they know more than you do.
Yeah. That's why I tell people, man. I usually go live on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but that's something that you should put in practice, is going live on a regular basis. So people have stories, your family, people that have stories to, go look back on. If you do it once or twice a week, even if you don't create that, you at least have something left behind that people can go and refer back to and be like, man, that was such and such. Because I know a lot of people do that. When they pass, they don't get rid of their Facebook or their Instagram. They just keep it going.
Yeah.
That's right. Is that a halo on top of your head, Ben?
Yeah, because I'm a saint.
Am I seeing things?
I'm a saint. You don't get it?
Oh, him and these filters.
Okay. No. I'm just tripping. I'm like, you know what? It's been a long day, my brother. It's been a long day. And I did toast to the hostess. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one seeing that, my brother. But yeah, that's I hear you right on. Yeah, we gonna talk. We're gonna talk. And JJ, you good?
Oh, I'm good. I got my drink over here as well.
Okay, all right. Ben,
I'm
you good? You just said something.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, I got out this weekend. It's one thing, like you guys were talking about the gas. I recognized it big time today on like 580 and stuff when I was going east and west. It was at least 50% less traffic for the Sunday. So
yeah,
people are feeling the crunch of that gas thing. But
they not driving to the zoo on a Sunday no more. They staying at home and watching Netflix.
Yeah, they loving on each other.
Or they went and got them a Clipper card.
Yeah, they staying in the house.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
they staying in it. It's the next shut-in because of that money. But I went to the fair. We got a fair over here in Oakland, across from the Coliseum, and man, that mug was packed.
Yeah, my daughter went today.
Yeah,
she
was
took
nice.
her kids today. She took her kids today. Good sharing, Ben. What about you, John? You cool?
Good.
You good? Oh yeah, you got it. That's right. It got to come back. Okay, when it come back, we gon' just say you want to talk. I got you. I got you.
Put his hand up like he in church, huh?
That's right. That's right. Just put.
That means I'm leaving.
Just put
that means I'm on my way out.
Just do that. Do that. Okay. Now, inquiring minds want to know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I say uh-oh every time.
All right. Did I do this last time? I don't think so. Okay, here we go.
Let's see.
Please settle an argument for me. My cousins and I were talking, and I made the comment that I'm not interested in quote unquote broke men. Meaning a man that has no job or livable income. My cousin says I'm being petty and shallow, but I disagree. There was a time I didn't care about that, but after a few experiences, I'm done being with a man that is not my equal or more financially. I had 2 jobs to help pay off college loans and have worked very hard for everything that I have. I have my own money and I do well. Why is it wrong or shallow for me to want a man that brings the same thing to the table or more? My cousins say, with this warped mindset, I will be single for a long time. What do you think, grown folks?
I think she need to get around another group of people. If they telling her that's the coolness, she need to find another group to hang with.
That's right. I gotta agree with that. You know, the Lord, the mighty Lord Himself didn't create us to be alone. So
That's right.
no matter how successful you can be doing, you need a significant other. Now you can't have these high standards, and especially if you don't have a lot of that bringing to yourself, and you can't be a gold digger at all anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Speak for myself, so I'll say it like this: I used to hear a lot of that type of talk, and you never know what kind of situations that any particular individual could be going through. Anything he's going through, he's got to believe it's temporary anyway. He may not have a job today, but that's not to say he won't have a job next month, and he's back on that path again. So if he meets you today without a job and you write him off, that's really your loss. And I've been in those situations in which it was like, hey, yeah, you can have a job, but it's not a good enough job. There's always a reason that a particular person will throw up an obstacle in front of you. But I
Right.
did not put it out there. Yeah, I had my own house. I had a decent little car, and I had my job. But I would love to just go somewhere and appear broke, because yeah, you tend to find out who people really are. So young lady would engage with you and talk to you and ask you these questions, I would kind of evade them, and then they get that little attitude. But I'd have to come back at them like, well, yeah, for your information, I've got a house, I've got a nice house, I've got a decent car, I've got everything I need. You need to convince me why I need to accept you into what it is
Hello.
you're doing. How do I know you won't be an obstacle to my further success? So, I've had those conversations before.
And that's absolutely, that's something, because, I see she says here that her cousins is saying her mindset is warped and shallow, and she may always be alone because she's wanting someone that can bring something to the table. But I see what you're saying too. People have situations too. Things happen, and you just happen to meet someone, and you may not have been down on your luck last year or the year before, but now circumstances have you this way. That don't mean you're going to stay that way. Right. But this is what's happening. So if you start weaning potential good people out because of their situation in the moment, you can be missing out on something of a lifetime, with that kind of judgmental attitude. What do you guys think from the panel? And anybody watching, please leave your comments, and I'll get back to you on that in regards to this young lady and her situation, because she apparently just don't want to deal with quote unquote broke men.
Well, there's songs about it. It's in pop culture. You got Destiny Child with the trifling, good for nothing type of brother. You got No Scrubs. You got There You Go with Pink. I mean, I could go on and on with all the songs about
I don't want no scrub. Yeah.
You got all kinds of songs about broke men out there. And the only thing we could come back with was No Pigeons back in the day, and that was a spin off of No
Pigeons.
Yeah, you look it up. It's by Sporty Thieves. It came out. It didn't get very popular, but it got a little radio play. But
so the women was considered pigeons.
Yeah, that was the answer.
Come
to
on,
No
man.
Scrubs.
What about the chicken head song?
Oh yeah, chicken.
Oh, see, y'all doing too much. We ain't trying to go there like that.
Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to the. I mean, there was a subculture of man bashing. So
still is.
It still is in a lot of ways. You got your Tyler Perry Sisters. There's a guy on there named Zach, and he's got to go from pillar to post. And live with the girlfriend's friend, and he cool with the girlfriend friend, and stuff like that. It's a lot of different scenarios out there, and I think you got to find a healthy balance in between the trifling good for nothing type of brother and somebody that's really trying to make it, really trying to do something for himself and get his life together. There needs to be something like that. But you're still gonna have somebody that's at the check cashing place that'll be like, "Oh, I cashed a little $500 check. Here you go." I had that happen to me when I was working at McDonald's. The check cashier lady gonna say that to me. I was like, "It's better than zero."
That's right.
So you gotta weigh your options. Are you willing to help this brother as he builds his career, as he gets his life together, or are you going to completely dismiss him because of his income?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's true.
my
That's
personal
Yeah,
opinion is, it's not so much as your financial status or even community status. You've got to align yourself with good people, and people
That's
really
right.
clearly stop doing that. They're into a visual thing or a material thing, and it's really about what's here in the mind and what's here in the heart. Because you can have somebody that's enjoying a certain amount of success, but they are complete idiots, and they won't have that success for very long. So, and they're too idiotic to even hear you out. So, how are you going to align yourself with someone like that? I'm not a big Bible quoter, but yeah, that's that unequally yoked type of talk right there.
Self-centered
That's
too,
right.
like you saying. They
Yeah.
self-centered. There's a lot of people that's real self-centered because they feel like, oh, I got this job, so I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. And they don't have any depth to their moral code, but because they have a job, that's the one that you're gonna pick. You can black off everybody if that's what you want to do, and be a nun or something. I mean, but if you trying to date people, you have to look at their morals and their ethics first
Absolutely.
before you worry about, because jobs come and go. I mean, let's keep it real. That's why there's so many people trying to, leave corporate America. There's so many people that's trying now to just have their own situation is because they're tired of what we're dealing with right now, which is common. It used to never be a commonplace. My parents are older. When they came to the game, they started a job, they ended the job 40 years later. You can't even find nobody that most of the time is somewhere for 10 years. So you're gonna knock somebody off because they don't have this employment thing situated? That's crazy.
And to touch on that, sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to say on that, what they're also doing is if you stay at a job for too long, you're not going to be able to find another job because they're feeling like that you're too stuck in some type of career. I've known somebody that was at a bank for 15 years and had a hard time finding another job, but there's loyalty there. That shows that they're gonna stick you through no matter what. But that's not what jobs are looking at. But also, if you job hop, then they want to call you. They want to kind of call you a job thought. So,
you're
there's that as
you're
well.
not dependable. John, you had something to say for a minute too. Had you on this topic?
Well, I was just more or less like the brother was saying earlier, we weren't created to be alone. But the problem is because we have that instinct to want to be with someone, but the problem is we don't get to know no one. So, we don't take time to know that person. And I'm saying we just to speak general of people. And the thing with that is, like this young lady said in the past. Well, in the past, maybe you didn't know these people because just because they didn't have a job, like the brother said earlier, and JJ, you don't know what was their circumstance that led them to that, not having that employment. You don't you don't know what happened. And not just the things been mentioned that takes place, but there's all kind of things that takes place, especially when it comes to Black man and employment, and so this mentality was created, like this don't scrub or whatever, a man with no job or whatever. and that mentality was create, now it's flowing through all these different women, and not just women, other people, other genders as well, but um the problem. So then we have this thought that, oh, if he don't have no job, and now we're chasing after finances, like the brother mentioned, and the finances, that don't mean that's going to last forever. History had already showed us that a lot of financial people have gotten together based around finances or what have you, or finances have became their breakup, and but that was because people don't know each other, and a lot of times nowadays people are getting married just to do the thing. Let's put it that way. They not getting married to, put it this way, be responsible for one another's remains. Okay, when you can get to where you're responsible for one another's remains, now we're talking something. Finances ain't gonna break you up. Finances ain't the foundation. Like brother mentioned about being yoked. If Christ is the foundation, and I'm just speaking from my faith, for me, I know if Christ is the foundation, nothing's gonna come in between it. So if you don't have no foundation, it's gonna crumble by everything you so-called building up, because you so-called building up this idea of materialistic, monetary, and probably some whatever else superficial, you know, and there's no foundation. So any of that issues right there is going to crumble the relationship anyway.
So this sister should get off the horse of looking for someone who has a certain financial status per se, and weaning them out if they're having. I mean, like JJ said, some are just there are some out there who just
meet people. Learn to know who people are, because if you do find someone who has a certain financial status, okay, blessings to you, or if you find someone who don't have that certain financial status, but that person still loves you, you know what I mean? And is not bringing any harm, but they're trying to do something. We always got to remember, a person without a job and a person without a job not trying to do nothing are two different types of people. Okay, but a person without a job trying to do something, okay,
that's different.
And then we have to be careful too, because in this age now we have a lot of men who are supporting women who decided to not work because they wanted to be these entrepreneurs and start their own business and selling jewelry, and men have been supporting them, and they not bringing nothing to the table because this business is not going right. And I'm speaking truth based off a couple couples that I know. But I'm still pushing for this, and he's still there supporting you. You see what I'm saying? So let's be careful how we expect a certain role to be carried from one another, because it's not based on the gender. Be careful. PG&E don't charge you by the gender.
Sure don't.
Okay.
Lately, they ain't even charging you by the meter. They just coming up with a great big amount that you have to pay every month.
So get ready for the lawsuits.
Sometimes it's what that person's bringing to the table, and what can we do with that from there? Because I'm like this: if she only bringing, let's say she only bringing $400 something a week to the table, right? But she has potential to do better, right? And she has the desire, but she's bringing $400 something a week to the table. You can't tell me you can't do nothing with that. You can't tell me that household cannot still function.
She can pay a couple of bills.
A couple of bills.
She could buy groceries.
And she could buy some food.
She could pay more. She could keep a check.
Come
on. She could keep a check. And them other three, you can do amazing things in that house.
Yeah.
But see, folks don't sit down and understand what the collective can do compared to what the divided does, or the individual. Mine's and yours. Mine's and yours. One thing about mine's and yours will always stay at the numbers that they are. They will not become no greater. But when you put them together, it's a whole different thing. And but you can only do that knowing the person that you're dealing with. You got to know that person, and you got to know yourself, because you can't come presenting some old fake off the wall stuff, and you got a whole bunch of can't hang up my coat because you don't want skeletons falling out and carrying on. So let's be real about it.
You got to get to know the
you got to
person, the
know a
character of the
person.
person. You
You
got
got
to
to
get
know
to
a
know.
person and know what are they trying to do? What has happened over the years?
Yeah.
Because I tell someone I didn't work for 2 years. But see, you don't know I had surgery. You see, so why do I gotta go through all that? Talk to me and let's have casual conversation, and you might learn that in the conversation.
Yeah, but people don't talk no more. But that's another.
I listened to a serious story, man, about this guy named Darnell Self. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Darnell Self, but Darnell Self is prepaid legal guy. He had a job, he was a manager, he was making his bread, and he got married to his girl, and she took care of the family. He was building his business the whole time. But now, I mean, he's one of the biggest network marketers in the world, So if she would have stepped back at that time and been like, "Oh, I ain't taking care of you," and they got kids, they on vacation constantly, they got whatever car they want, whatever house they got. But if they would have broke up, "Oh man, I want to be with him because he ain't doing his thing," look at what they would have lost. Brother's worth millions of dollars now.
And that's a perfect example of what was he doing what was he doing to make some things happen and grow when he was broke, you know what I'm saying? And then the loyalty and commitment of her sticking in there, they both came out winning. So, I would tell this young lady that, like you guys all have said, it ain't about what's happening right then in the moment. Get to know the person, the character, the direction, what's going on with that brother, where his mind is, what's happening, and take it from there, you know what I'm saying? And not just make that your deciding factor on whether you will want to date a person or not. You could be writing off your next husband or your husband. Hello, Mr. Mitchell. Thank you for joining in today. So I hope we've given her some good advice, and I'd like to know how that thing pans out, because her friends may be right. She may end up being alone for a while if she keeps with that mindset.
Hey, I got a question for you, Donna. Do you have any female friends?
Yeah.
Can you get some of them to come on the show? Because Lord Jesus.
Well, only thing I can say is I do what I do.
Yeah.
And be it female or male, the ones who want to be a part of it and who wants to share and who wants to come on, whether they're man or woman, is always welcome. I don't know, maybe some of the females are a tidbit shy. I don't know what it is, but we gonna keep this going. We gonna keep it going. I don't care if I have 100 men and 2 women, or 100 women and 2 men.
I was about to log off because 6 men and 1 woman.
What, y'all doing too much. This ain't even about. Come on now, stop it. Okay, moving right along to the Donna Smith Show. Y'all got to excuse them. Sometimes they go to the left. At what age is love doomed, you guys? When should you stop looking and hoping for love? Some people say when you get to a certain age, you need to just sit down somewhere. Say, like, if you get to 75 or 80, it ain't happen.
There's 75-year-olds
You know what I'm
pulling
saying?
30-year-olds.
Is there
Like,
an age on that when a person should give up and
Mm.
stop looking for love? What you say, JJ?
there's 75-year-olds pulling 30-year-olds. I don't know who. I don't know
Hello.
how.
I
Come on
didn't
now.
see some. Hey, I've been watching
Hey.
Love After Lockup. And that, what's his
Uh.
name? That old dude
Oh,
on there shoe. He
Lord.
got a couple of little young honeys. And he
Yeah.
be throwing down too. He a little too much for them.
See,
So
Well,
I don't know if I get 65, 70 years old and I ain't got no honeys, I'm moving to the nursing home, cat. Cause you would be. I see them nursing home dudes, man. They have 4, 5 of them. So I ain't never giving
oh
up.
my God. Did he say the nursing home?
The nursing, I'm moving to the nursing home. I'm moving to the senior living
See,
facility.
you need to,
Here I come.
you know them little twigs you had last show. You need to stop.
Yeah,
You need to
yeah.
stop with the
No, I
twigs.
don't.
Stop with
You
the
think I'm
twigs.
playing? Let me be single at 65.
Ain't nobody
I'm
going to
moving
no
to
nursing
Arizona
home. They don't feel
to
good
senior
in there.
living facility. No, senior living. I think because they're a little better shape. Senior living.
I just say, me personally, I don't think it's no age limit on when you can find love, when you're looking for love. You know, you do you. Sure. I mean, hey, I hope I'm 85, 90 and still out there getting it. You know what I'm saying? It is what
There you
you
go.
feel in your spirit and soul, and you know, you having the health to deal with situations. I mean, I'm not gonna be 85 and get a 35, but you know, still do you. Some people sit back and fall over at 60, at 50. There's a lot of people who say they are old and have an old mindset at 50 years old nowadays. 50 years old.
they too young to even know. So they speaking out their
I mean, really though. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean 50 is a good age. It's not an old age. It might be old to a 20-year-old or even a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's son, I think he was about 33. He jokes with me, you know, because I'm 56, 57. So and he jokes with me. I know he doesn't mean it, but it's still in some, you know, little
You don't
joke
look like
stuff.
you're 56, 57, Brian, are you?
Yeah, I'll be 57 this year. Told you I got a lot of work, but you know, it all comes back to, like I said earlier, you're not meant to be alone. You know, your priority might need to change. If you're 85, 95, you should be worrying about breathing, you know, and maintaining that status. But you know, you need a partner.
But they need love too.
Yeah, old people need love too.
Most definitely.
You know, most of them have a honey bunny that
they might not need that naked love.
Some of them don't. You know what? What you say, Benjamin?
They might not need that naked love at 85. They might just need them hugs and kisses.
Well,
will you make a phone call for Benjamin, please? Will you make?
I know he doing way too much. You know,
girl.
a woman at 85 can still receive.
Well, I think we all, you know, long
but
as
a man at 85 may not be able to deliver.
There's some.
But a woman at 85 will always be able to receive.
Well,
only those who are grown,
only
those who are grown can relate to what I'm saying right now.
She can be received with some lubricants.
Not really. Some women don't have that issue.
At 85? Come on,
man. So I
doing too much.
You know what? Moving right along, because you know
you mentioned
they doing too much
about the age.
You
know, and it actually showed that it was more women over 80 that were sexual active compared to men.
You seen that on
women over 80?
She mentioned that before, so I had looked it up. Because she mentioned
that was the
women over 80. I mean, I don't like I said.
Yeah, women 80 and over.
I don't think it's an age thing. I mean, you know, it depends on what's going on with your health and what's happening with you. I mean, if you have arthritis or You gotta go.
You can have arthritis at 50 years
Okay.
old. At 40
If you have
years old.
arthritis and you know 4 missing toes, or you know you
You
got
can have
stuff
all
that's
that
gonna
at
cause,
40.
huh?
You can have all that at 40. Hell, you
You
can have your
do.
whole leg.
I know. I've
40.
seen it, but I'm just saying. Come on now.
I'm
y'all gotta make
I'm
it
gonna put
so
this game on
difficult?
you right
Folks
now.
make
I'm
it
gonna put this
happen.
game.
Even people with one leg, they make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put this game
Oh,
out
ha
here.
ha
It's a
ha
new book.
ha ha ha.
It's a new book. Check this out.
Yeah,
It's a
your
new
memory
book.
ain't that bad, my brother.
Hey, it's a new book that just came out with Tony Robbins, where he did interviews with over 160 doctors and stuff. The new book is called Life Force. And so these guys now are doing stem cell, what you call treatments. They doing genome treatments. They're doing different techniques. They're using MRIs and stuff. So they're talking about people being able to live into 120 or more.
Absolutely.
So if that's gonna be the game, if you're able to get this stuff, because they're saying an 80-year-old inside may be 60 or 55 by what they're doing with the genes and stuff. So you gonna see some 80-year-olds putting in some game. They're gonna be excited, they're gonna be exercising, they're gonna be living their life. So
you see a few of them now. You see a few of them now jogging down the street. You really do.
I don't know if y'all know this, but there's more seniors living than there are young people all over the world.
Yeah, that's real.
Globally. So
especially in Japan.
Yeah, some of them got to be active and doing something.
I mean, of course.
So.
You know, and it's you know, yeah, hats off. I say it ain't no age limit. What y'all say? So we can move on.
I'm gonna
what
have to agree with that. I'm gonna have to agree with that. I'm gonna be 90 and I'm gonna still get it in.
Hello. You may need a little help.
You better make sure your partner is nice and healthy and strong. You better make sure they get them the vitamins and the jumbas and the juices and the beets, so they can stay around, so you still have something to deal with.
Oh, all of that.
There you
That's
go.
crazy. That's crazy. Just give it to them. Just give it to them, baby. Okay. Why do some separate in marriage for a few years and then go back? What is separation? A moment in time that you both play a little? Why separate in the first place? Will marriage succeed after a separation and then you go back to each other? What do you guys think about that? Those who separate for a period of time, do their thing, boom, 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 decide, hey, I want to be back in this. I love you. I done kissed a couple of frogs. I done learned a couple of lessons. Let's make it happen, Captain.
Hold on. Before you guys dive into that, I got a couple guests that just arrived at my house, and I'm sorry.
Oh,
it was good having
man,
you.
that's a juicy one. I know you had something to say about that one.
You know I do. Hey, grass ain't always greener is all I can say to that right now. But,
okay, we got it. Well, if you don't come back, try to get back next week if you can. But you and I are gonna talk soon.
Okay, you got it. Hey, good talking to y'all fellas, huh?
Take
okay,
care.
You too. Thanks for being.
Y'all have a good week. Have a safe week, huh?
Okay,
you too.
All right, you too.
All right, y'all.
So what you guys think? Separating in what you think? That's separation stuff.
Well, I've learned of a couple personally.
Will marriage succeed after that type of separation and digging your feet deep into the sand and coming on back home?
I know of a couple personally that they were separated for 8 years and even had a child in between that separation.
With somebody else?
No, with each other. But they were able to work together.
Oh, they were still tapping it. They was just on a separation.
They were still separated for a long time. They eventually got back together, but
interesting.
Yeah, it can happen. It can happen.
Wow.
How is their temperament? How is the people? Did they have explosive temperament, or were they real cool people?
They were cool people. I'm sure they had their arguments. I know them personally, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it. But what I will say is they eventually worked it out to get back together. They never divorced. They just stayed separated for they needed that time apart.
So I guess
figure out
in some
themselves.
circumstances like that one, it was a baby that happened in the midst of it. What do you guys think? Keith, you've been kind of quiet. What do you think about something like that? I mean, I personally think that if it takes me leaving or you leaving and this and that, I mean, first of all, why are you still tapping it? And second of all, why should you stay legally? Why should you stay legally bound to somebody that you really are not with?
Because it's good. What?
Well, stay with them.
But do
Sometimes
we?
they crazy.
I mean,
yeah, sometimes the clap is good, but everything else.
You know where I think, especially in the African American community, if we can just talk about that ethnic group, I think a lot of the tools that are needed to stay in a marital or marital contract, they're not utilized. They give up instead of seeking counsel, seeking spiritual guidance, having intervention.
Yeah.
So a lot of the necessary tools that are supposed to be implemented in them crises in marriage or having children or loss of death, we don't utilize them. We don't use them. We everything is irrational, emotionally irrational, or we get the wrong advice,
That's
or
a good one, Keith. That's good. That's good, brother.
So once upon a time, the households was established on the community. It was in a community setting, dynamic or system. So we find a lot of traumatized people are having children, and we haven't learned to cope with our own hardships and our own traumas. And this is impregnated in the children and in the in life circumstances, life social community circumstances, and I think that's what a big part is we don't seek the necessary help before giving up. We're too quick to give up,
Yeah.
And it's sad, it's unfortunate. I haven't never been married, but I've been in a couple of relationships where we try to mend our differences and have another go, but we just pick up where we left off because we don't have the necessary tools to try to resolve what our behavioral or impersonal indifferences are. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
And so what's sorry to intervene, but so what happens is you bury or you put dirt over what the issues were that were never really dealt with.
Yeah, you keep putting bad
and they don't go away. They stay there until they root again. And then they root even more massively with a whole lot of other vines that get tangled up with it after the fact. It's about resolving whatever it is that caused the separation and the division. We have to get to the gist of what happened here. Why? What can we do to, like you say, to get help intervention or, spiritual intervention, whatever you need as a couple, but you have to deal with those issues. And a lot of people just, okay, let's just start over. Let's just forget that. Just in the next argument you have, they bringing up everything you did back in 1977 that you thought was a done deal, but something happened and triggered something, and now they bringing up the whole wash again, and you got more issues to deal with now than you did at first because you buried what was the problem prior. You never mended it. You never worked on it. You never, forgave of it. You just put it to the side and thought that it was going to go away. It does not go away.
No. And then you can end up...
Brother breaking it down with the tools, right? That's the tools. If you immature, right? If you immature as heck, you don't have no tools to know what the heck you're doing. If you keep doing the same thing over. Go ahead. Sorry about that, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, no, it's good. You could also end up turning to alcohol and drugs as a result as well, because you're not resolving issues. You don't know how to deal with it. You need some kind of escape. You want to be with the person because you really love them, but you're like, okay, but I need some kind of coping mechanism for myself so I could deal with it, and it ends up going overboard. I've seen that a lot. And I myself, I haven't been married yet. I'm 35 years old. I would like to get married, but is marriage really something? Is it for everybody? Is it for me? That's something I would have to find out. I know I'm a good person. I know I'm cool. I know I'm consistent, but is that enough? I know I'm attentive, but is that enough? Sometimes people get together and they don't find that they're the right people for each other. So,
and that's right. Is marriage for everyone?
Is it for everybody?
Some of the things you mentioned about being, attentive and all these things, but marriage deals with commitment. If you're not willing to be committed to another person, then marriage is not for you. Because we could have all the other attributes or what have you. We could be an affectionate, attentive, hardware. We can be all these things. But if there's no commitment, then there's going to be some issues in the marriage. But
some people got more commitment.
But you see, commitment is like what I mentioned earlier. See, commitment is not going to let finances or anything else separate you. And then when there are issues, when it's commitment, because I'm committed, a lot of other things start to come in play. We're able to talk and carry on. But what's happening with the Black community now, what didn't used to happen, is a lot of more people are coming out of the Black community and seeing therapists or having or talking with their, whatever pastor or whatever ministers at their ministry. And they're getting us not only individual consultation, but they're getting also couples consultation.
Yeah, the retreats and stuff that people doing.
But not just retreats, they're coming in for marriage counseling or, trying to resolve things. This time, I know I would be at the church when couples would come, my pastor is counseling them at the time. And so when they came individually, like if it was a female, I would usually hang at the church because, you leave somebody by themselves and it can happen anywhere. Somebody make accusations. So you just got to be careful. But the folks is there, and these is different races, but we're talking about the Black community. But it's the majority of Black couples. And I know a couple other pastors and people who are working in who are family therapists or couple therapists or whatever, and it's Black people who are getting a therapy now. So that's a good thing, from where, like Brother Keith was saying, from with his, not knowing the things of what to do, because the problem is you can have the tools, but if you don't know how to operate them, the tools have no substance.
Right.
you know, and I think I shared that with y'all. I have a problem with that with one of the places I go to, and they deal with the people who are recovering or have recovered, and they you take your tools, but you get these tools, but you ain't taught them how to use the tools. You give me a screwdriver and a nail. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna beat on the nail with the screwdriver. You know what I'm saying? But so a lot of times we haven't been we've at one time we were taught because we've seen it in our grandparents and we witnessed it in our own house. But at a point in time that got so disrupted, you know, especially when the man's not in the house, what we see in a lot of a high percentage of our Black families. We see this kid over here, kid over there, kid down there, and 4 kids over here, kid with my cousin and my sister. We see all these different things now. So there's no room for a lot of these younger folks or other people to get any teaching or receive any tools handed down to them because we had this big gap of what was going on. And that goes there's a whole lot that goes for the reason of that, because the whole plan is to remove the Black man from the household anyway. So once you do that, now this is what happens. This is what develops. This not understanding, like Brother Keith was saying, this stuff, everything, Brother Keith, that's what develops. Because once you remove him, it's through. And then that cycle might continue of the Black man being removed. So the kids don't get to see their grandparents married for 60 years. They don't get to see their parents married for 40 years. They don't get to witness that stuff. They don't get to witness them working it out during hard times. Even though kids are told to go to the room, they're not ignorant. A lot of
They
kids
be
know
hearing
what's
it
going
all.
on. They
They
know
be
what's
hearing
going
it
on
all.
in there.
And they pass
Sometimes,
it to them, so they
not
have
on,
unsuccessful relationships.
but when they see that, they arguing, but they ain't never left each other. When
They
they
teach
see
them a lesson.
daddy knock on that bathroom door telling me to hurry up every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And that's the
Yeah, so
beauty
they
of
don't get to see that.
yeah.
You
They
know,
hang in there. They hang in there.
and that's what's tearing it up. So the thing, I mean, to fix, really, to get all this stuff kind of back in motion, we have to eliminate, like what we spoke about earlier, about the brother man not having a job. We got to get rid of all this superficial thinking and getting caught up like that, starting to know each other. And we have to actually, because it's still a rebuilding, and that's rebuilding our men. If we don't rebuild our men, all this what we talking about, how this can do, this is how it could be, it's done, or whatever. Or when I was growing up, they won't, that stuff won't exist anymore. It won't
But
be any
Right.
good.
if I may say so, though, we can't leave the women. The woman need to be rebuilt too, because the woman been living in a false masculinity role, because man wasn't in the life, man wasn't in the household, man wasn't in the responsibilities necessary for a complete dynamic union between man and woman. So the women a lot of the lessons that have to be learned, we have to learn together. You can't
Oh
have
yeah.
women over here learning one thing, men over here learning another. We gotta have co-ops. We gotta learn. We gotta institutionalize programs where under the same roof of the institution, learning the necessary skills, learning the necessary tools of coming out of the trauma, coming out of the hardship.
As a couple.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
and
but
even if you're,
true.
excuse me, 1 second, even if you're not a couple, boys and girls got to learn at an early age how important it is for them to be in union together. And sometimes it don't take the church to be involved in everything. Sometimes it doesn't take Alcohol Anonymous or Substance Abuse Anonymous or whatever. All these
What is that?
all these cliches that we feel are necessary. And because for intergenerationally, we talking about intergenerations.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about a quick fix with just this individual because they want to get their life together. Because how many generations watch their dad, watch their mom, watch their grandparents not get it together? It might be a great-great-grandchild still seeing all the craziness going on within his or her family structure.
Mm-hmm.
So when we can start building co-ops to where we're learning together as man and woman, we won't be infiltrated in how they're grooming and how they interjecting how little boys looking today, wearing makeup, dressing like wanting to play with dolls, and this and that. It's like, everybody has an opinion, but just like an opinion, everybody has an asshole. Ain't nobody right.
Uh-oh. Whoops.
Nobody.
Whoops.
But when we, and I apologize for saying that, but
I already said, my brothers. Come on, Wade.
No, we hear you. We hear you.
I know that it's sad that when you go to prison or you go to these institutions, you're bombarded with so many programs and getting the self-development and the reorientation about what masculinity is.
Because they want you to be cool for them so they can be all right.
Yeah, but it's beautiful because both male and female take it upon themselves to teach classes on it. You understand what I'm saying? We run our own programs in there. They ask us what we need, whether it's educational tools, whether it's whatever tools we need to help each other, come out of that, whatever we've been addicted to. But the necessary, and the necessary is vitally important to understand that, our children, when they are born with schizophrenia, the shit that we go through, it's in their DNA, it's in their genetics. Kids just ain't killing each other because they learned it on the game. It's something in them that's causing them to do stuff like this.
Interesting.
So, that's all I wanted to. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse, but my personal insight and what I've seen, I know people can change with the necessary tools and the necessary help. I know it works because I'm a living example. I know what it did for me.
Amen.
Yeah. So just like everybody know what we all been through something in our life, and we've been able to, if it was unstable or unstable or, desensitizing, we got back. Your show, doing what you're doing, it's a necessary tool.
Mm-hmm.
And when people tune in, yeah, they might not get on the video, they might not get on live, but they listen.
And that's right. And that's why we do what we do. We want real, grown dialogue, life experiences. Nothing is scripted. These are individuals that is telling their part, their story.
Can I ask Brother Keith something? Because I want to ask him that, because I know the brother said he was a warrior out in the streets, doing his thing or whatnot. But what did those classes do for you to help you process your mind differently, where you came out wanting to be a warrior for your community, wanting to be a warrior for yourself, and not wanting to do all that stuff again? What did that do? Like, what things did you learn in there that said, oh, I want to change the game?
The beautiful thing that we don't really get to do, Benjamin, is rest. We don't get to rest, man, and get a peace of mind to find that tranquility so you can study, so you can learn, so you can make it applicable. The lessons, the fundamental tools you need in order to see if it really works. See, one thing in prison is like Groundhog Day. You can repeat the thing, you can repeat the processes over and over and over till it's perfected. We don't have that liberty to do that in society. We gotta work, we gotta pay bills, we gotta put gas in our car. We got all these things we have to do that are necessarily important to function and to coexist. But in prison, it's not like that. The first thing you get to do is get to scrape all them sores and them scabs off your mind, man. Because you get to rest. Rest is so important.
I get it.
To shut down.
And out here in the world is so many other distractions and things to focus on outside of it. So many people who don't get me time. They don't get rest time from nothing. Their mind is always preoccupied with the BS of what's happening all around them.
And how much information do we need to take in? Everybody know the right solution. Everybody got the right opinion, but it's not true. When you can get to a place in your life to where you can take some time out to rest and reflect on, man, why did I say that to the sister? Man, why did I yell at the brother? Why did I yell at my child? We don't get the opportunity, we don't get a chance to ponder and reflect on some of the negative actions that we perpetuated against people we love, people we care about. So when you get in these places where, you can sit down and counsel amongst men, amongst women, amongst people who've been through the same complexities as you have, you get a better understanding on, okay, well, maybe let me look at it this way. Let me try it this way, because you get to practice on each other. You live in a society that everybody get the rest, is fenced in, is self-contained, and you can correct your behavior. You can correct your etiquettes. You can correct your mannerisms towards the very people you're housed with. Towards the very people you may go to church with, you don't never really get to interact with what people are teaching. You here, take this book, read that, you'll figure it out. Nah, it don't work that way. You have to sit down and we have to reorientate, re-educate ourselves, because a lot of the lessons, a lot of the information that we have taken in, it has caused an imbalance in our own nature, in our own spirit, in our own life force.
So I can see where that would be a safety net for some. Is that maybe one of the reasons why when some come out of an environment like that and into this whirlwind of a world we have, that they find it hard to fit in and adjust because it's totally different from the safety net of how things are structured behind the wall?
It could
behind
be,
the
but,
incarceration.
right. But why does people keep smoking cigarettes? Why do people keep going to clubs? Why people keep cheating on their husband or their wife? Why do people keep doing, you know what I'm saying? So prison is just another society. It's just another residential society. People work in prison. Why they keep going to work in there if it's that bad?
Yeah, they do work. Yeah.
Right? So it's just it's a place, you know, for me, I didn't want to go back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, God forbid, if I ever had to, I would pick up where I left off. But at the same time, you know, it's just a behavioral condition that it has to be altered. It has to be changed. And sometimes people don't get the necessary help that's really needed, because when they take an opinion or a suggestion or advice from somebody, it's what they say, but it's not really what the person need or what the person want. It might be just
is that incarceration or when you come out into the everyday
both.
world?
It's on both sides of the fence. Just because I might have an addiction or a flaw in my character or behavior, and you can see that flaw in character in my behavior, and you think you got the antidote to it because you watching me like a movie, but you don't know why I have that flaw in my life. So now you done read something, or you go come at me in a self-taught book kind of way, thinking that you got the answer that's gonna cure me or help me, and you don't.
So do you think that's how it is out here in society, where, like John had mentioned, going to get help and talking with somebody and, doing things like that? I think you mentioned too. I mean, that's a third party trying to give you direction and help you individually or with your partner, marriage counseling and stuff like that. Do you see that is something that is a good thing to be able to do that?
Man, it's
it
beautiful.
Compliment?
It's beautiful because like Yaya said, the commitment is important, but it's the trust. You got to trust the commitment first. You can't commit to nothing until you trust it. If I trust enough,
I'm just another devil's advocate question.
No.
When do a person start to trust?
When they can feel confident enough in themselves to say that they got an issue or they got a problem and they need to say and they need help.
Okay, I confidence in myself. I got all that. When do I begin to trust others?
When that person, whoever they're reaching out, can be consistent with them and helping. It ain't gonna be no quick fix. A lot of people need hands-on care. They need to be spent time with, but sometimes you can't spend all day with a person, but you're there for that person whenever consistently in need for that person, you're always there.
Yeah, but when we mentioned about the commitment and trust, I think one of the issues we have is we look for something to give us this key of when I should trust. And trust really only starts is when you give the permission. When you give the permission that I'm going to trust this person, because it's just like if you choose a doctor or a lawyer. When you choose this lawyer, you you have to be giving up you have to make some type of choice that I'm I'm going to give permission to myself to trust this lawyer to handle my case.
But
You
how
know,
many times do
and I
people
don't.
are
Uh,
suggested? Okay, that's true, but
no, I mean
a lot of
sometimes it don't have to be someone suggested to me or something. The point is, we sometimes
yes, it
we
sometimes it
miss
do,
so
bro.
much because we look for a time period of when or a certain sign or something of when I should trust.
No,
And
you don't. No,
a lot of
you
times,
don't.
wait,
Everybody don't,
hold on.
brother. Everybody
I
don't.
said sometimes for one.
Okay, all right.
Hold on.
Okay.
Sometimes for one, we put time, we let it go on. I ain't begin to trust the person. I ain't begin to trust this person or put any trust in when the person
Mm-hmm.
is actually the one who should be the one you should be probably trusting, but the trust is you putting this trust in this other person who's so-called your friend, and they doing everything you can think of behind your back. But we done put this trust in automatically with this person. Sometimes what I think a lot of times is when we get into a relationship and we talking about being commitment, I can't grow truly unless I begin to start. We can't even grow truly unless I begin to start to trust you. Because if I'm not trusting, if I don't allow trust to be present, then it's always going to be question and doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not only gonna have these things on my mind, but the things that's on my mind is gonna cause me to operate
Mm.
that same way. I'm gonna treat and I'm gonna respond, I'm gonna converse, I'm gonna do everything based on these thoughts that there's a possibility of doubt, and I have these other questions. So I think a lot of times, so when we trust doesn't come like, oh, it just come. It has to have something that ignites it, or
Just
I
like
want to use
commitment, though,
another
right?
word.
But
Yeah,
just
but
like
in order
commitment,
to
right?
be, yeah, but it needs a
Commitment too,
commitment. It needs a
because I
relationship.
right
It
because
needs
you have
something to
right.
ignite it. So if I'm going to be in a commitment, I need to be trusted. Other words, why am I in the commitment if I don't trust
You
you?
can't, you have to trust to be committed.
You
Mm-hmm.
have to. So trust has to go forward. There's no there's no
All of them increments are important in a relationship. It don't matter
oh, I know
which
that
one
that's
comes
important
first
in a no, but my
because
question was when, because when you mentioned about the commitment and then mentioned about the trust. So I just asked,
yeah,
like I said, it was just a devil advocate's question. When
no,
do trust start?
but that's
When do
based
we
on the
start?
individual.
And
I
some
can't
people,
right. I
a
can't
lot of
tell you when your trust is going to start. I
no,
can't tell you when your commitment's going to
no,
start.
I'm not
It's
saying
based on the person. It's based on the individual.
that. we're we're
Yeah.
speaking in a general term when we talk about a lot of times, just like for instance when people say when you should date, oh, it should be the 90-day rule, or it should be this, or it should be, now they start building the list, now they're starting to throw the list out. It's
Mm-hmm.
just all these things that were coming in that people felt that, and I'm speaking general, like with trust, it should be around this or it should be around that. And what happens is that don't even work. It's not even working. 90 days, that's not for everybody. you
No, it's
know
not.
or love, because for some people, love at first sight existed for them, and they've been together ever since. You
Right.
know,
Exactly.
and for some
Well, let's
people,
put it this way though, man, because a lot of times I listen to podcasts and stuff of people, and a lot of time my trust for their information and education comes from if I start hearing some trigger words or some trigger situations, then I'm like, oh, I can trust what this person is saying because I've heard some of this scenario before. So maybe even your relationship, if you heard some of this stuff before, you can say, oh, I'm gonna go with this, or you know, you like the brother said, you have to have something to go back on and say, okay, I can trust this. And how you gonna do that if you've never been in a relationship that's trustworthy?
Right.
wait, if you ain't
Right.
never been in a relationship that's not trustworthy, see, I think we get missing a thing. So let's put it this way: if I've never been in a relationship that wasn't trustworthy, does that mean I still should not trust? I'm just asking that question. When
How can you
when
trust
when
if you
should
don't even
I start to trust again? I've been the last two
how can you trust
relationships
if
I've
you've
been
never been
in.
in nothing that's trustworthy?
When no, I trusted it, and then come to find out the other person did whatever they did, and then I found out it wasn't trustworthy because I didn't get into it at the beginning knowing it wasn't trustworthy.
I mean, have you ever heard somebody say, I've been in so many situations that's been bad for me that I don't even trust myself anymore?
I
I've
heard
heard that
people
before.
say,
I've heard that
but
before.
because it's said doesn't necessarily, or because something taking place doesn't mean necessarily that it's good. You know, because because someone wasn't honest with me, should I not trust myself? Should I allow somebody else's actions to dictate how I look at myself? So so yeah, we can say that. I mean, things that goes on in the church, I don't think should be going on, but we've been doing it for so long. Some people think it's okay, you know, and 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 I think a lot of times, especially in our community, we've gotten so used to doing things a certain way and dealing with things a certain way that we continue to do it and we think it's right. You
And,
know, come on,
and that's what I was saying.
we built
Exactly.
so many relationships off the first time we did had sex with
And
somebody. We
and,
built
and
a
that's what I
lot of
was saying.
relationships.
And
Y'all
that's why I
that
was
went to the left with it, but it's good. It's good
And
food.
it's about, but
Good.
it's about growing. But just like what I was trying to say earlier, you say, yeah, we're inside. People are in this prison and they're learning these things and teaching one another, right? But
Right.
the thing is, we need them brothers, like I was saying, to be not learning in there, but learning in the universities that's out here, learning in the JCs that's out here,
but
learning in the
That's not
high
true, John.
schools
but
That's
that's
not
out
true
who.
because they get
We
their own
need,
truth,
brother.
brother.
No, hold on. Let me finish. Let
You
me
go to the
finish.
university, the
Hold on.
universities are not educating you properly. They're
Okay.
educating you on
Wait,
what you want.
hold on. Hold on. I'm speaking general education. See, what I'm speaking is we have a lot of brothers who are in the system who are getting educated. Okay, and they're getting education through these universities online as well,
yeah,
and
and
YSU and
I was
stuff
just
like
about to.
that. So
They
this
got,
not
but
count
see,
that,
they got
but they're getting
professors.
this
They got professors who come in to educate and teach.
Oh, and I understand, but see, this is what I'm trying to say. The fact is, they're in there.
Their brothers out.
They're,
I can call on some
we
brothers
have
right now that's
we
doing
have
the
a
job. Yeah.
majority of brothers who are getting Where the majority of our black men at? Are they in the prison or the schools or in our
No, they
household?
well we know that they're incarcerated,
Okay, and this is
and we
what I'm
know,
saying.
I wouldn't say. I mean,
When we can
but
have
women are
whatever
incarcerated too.
percentage it is, I understand. We have to understand though, women, when we have to understand when the downfall of men, of black men being in the household started taking place, then our young girls and our young boys started going about and going ways that they wanted to go through. And even before some of their time, there is some women who have been incarcerated before then. But these numbers of ours are climbing because our families are broken. And until we
But
start
listen
trying
to
to
this, John.
build back men who are more, I'm not saying men don't exist, who don't take care of their kids, who don't stand, but we have a majority who are, we have, put it this way, a high percentage that is not in the household. And we cannot
We
ignore
understand
that.
that. But
And the house is
John, we have to change. The reason why we having so much problem is because we're getting educated by people that do not have our interests at heart.
and that's
Exactly.
We
putting our,
have to
and is
change
that
our
putting our people
education
in,
to
is that
educate
putting
our
our
own
people in
people.
prison? Is that incarcerating
Yes,
our people?
it is.
So
It's a
because I got
Benjamin
an
Price-line
education from
system.
Columbia, because I got an education from
How
Columbia,
you
that's
gonna
going
get
to
an
cause
education
me
from
to,
Columbia
that's
for
going to cause me
200,000?
to be
You
incarcerated.
gonna go in debt for $200,000 to get
That's,
a Columbia education from
we
somebody that
we're
when you get
missing the
out, you
point.
get a $50,000 job.
We're missing the
They're
point.
not educating us for us to be successful. They're
We're
educating us so we can keep making them money.
see,
That's what they're doing, John.
we're talking about a broken home.
That's the
Anytime the
point.
A
man, the
broken home.
family is broken, anytime the family is broken, access to that family is easy.
But
We
what I'm
blame our
you,
thing. We blame so much on what these young folks is doing. Now,
I
a
don't
lot of young
blame them.
folks are
I don't
making
blame them.
decisions,
I don't
but it's
either.
a majority of society blame young folks for what is going on right now, and a
They've
lot of
been
times
born into
black folks, these young folks, has been like I exactly
they
born into, like I'm saying, these broken homes, these homes that has no stability, and a lot of it goes back. And if we look at it, and we want to look at generations and generations, or however one we want to, and we can look into this generation now, because
it's
there are some who
intergeneration.
are married, some who are staying and fighting for their families, but we have a
Yeah.
lot who has been misplaced out of their families. And once that misplacement took place, the family started to be attacked.
Yeah.
Because
We all right. We all have the same
now
information
this
because you know
mentality
why?
has
You know
switched to
why?
where a lot of our
Because
women
I'm one
are
of them
saying,
kids.
I
I'm one
don't
of them
need no
kids.
man.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm one
need
of
no
them
man.
kids.
I can run my thing and do this. So these are the reactions that we get.
Why?
With the
Hmm.
Because they
man is
know
like the
that the
root and the
society is
trunk.
gonna take their
Is
man.
it that
And
she
when
They know
doesn't
that,
need a
John.
man or she doesn't
They
have
know
a
she
she
man?
knows
don't
that
need, she
society's gonna
don't
take her
need.
man.
So the mentality, all these things have starting to grow. It's like when you grow a tree, that branch, that twig, that leaf, all them buzz, it all branches out. It
But
all
John,
branches out. And
don't you
now,
think
and
you
this
need
is
to
when we
change
come
the
back.
education? You don't think
But
the education has nothing to do with it?
let me tell you something.
You
There's
don't
some,
think that
see,
people are still living like slaves?
do
When are
we
you
have
gonna
some,
change and reevaluate the education?
do we have some great black people who done went to these universities? Yes or
Oh
no?
my God.
Okay,
Yes, we
so the
do.
university,
And
this
look how
before we
they act.
even get to the
Look how they
university,
act. They don't
let's
even want
get
to be
to
around the people
building
that they
up
need to
our
be around.
people. Let's get to
They don't want
building
to be
up our
around them people.
people
Yes.
before we deal with the university.
Brother,
Because
my
if we
brother,
can't build our
look at one
men
of the
up,
most prominent black people that went to university. He done become a lawyer, he done became a judge, and now he on the Supreme Court, and he can't stand his own people. Brother, that's common.
you pick it out, you single it out,
That's one. That's
you're
one
making it
case.
individual. We're talking collectively as a nation,
That's deep.
as a black nation. We need to look at what's going to help collectively. If we keep up this rate with these houses being like this, not only is our black men, like we've got to mention how younger people are less living less compared to a lot of older people. Okay, in a lot of countries. Okay, we're going to continue, we're going to become, our percentage is going so far down in areas, it is ridiculous. You look at the demographics in the cities where people used to live and where our percentage was high in these different areas, these numbers are going down. They're not going down just because we're moving, even though some are moved or being forced to move, but they're going down because the population in that area number is dropping because our youngsters are killing each other. Mm-hmm. And then until we start getting something in place to give our kids something else to look at. You listen to a lot of them in their interviews, the one thing they say, and they say about the police, one main thing they say, they don't see none that look like them. Now, I'm not saying the ones that look like us, all the ones that look like us are good, but I'm just saying to be able to see someone, to be able to talk to someone who looks like you, someone who's going to handle your case, who looks like you, it's different. We don't see this. I go to these schools, and it's a shame when you got kids who don't see a black male teacher that looks like them.
Why?
That looks like them.
Why?
It's not, but we have them.
Because demographically, they put white teachers in black inner city communities.
No, I'm gonna tell you.
Even my daughter's school. Every time they have a black teacher at her school, they get rid of them.
Y'all, just put it this way.
We're not making it a white or black thing.
If our percentages was much higher of families being less broken, then you would see probably more working in the schools. You probably would see more working in these other areas. You probably would see them work, because if we go back in time, when we talk about how folks have been married for 40 years, 60 years, grandparents and all of them, a lot of them had a presence at time. In certain jobs, they had a presence. Yeah. They was able, some of these homes and stuff, they didn't give them homes for free.
Well, I tell you what, brother, you need to listen to somebody named, it's a doctor named Dr. Boyce Watkins, which is a PhD in mathematician, and he explains to you, we need to educate our own children, or we gonna keep having the same system.
How do you educate your own children?
And all that.
How do you educate your own children?
You have people that are educated, that are PhDs, that create courses.
But who gonna do it?
Children.
Who gonna do the teaching?
They doing it. People that got education. You don't have to be in nobody's home no more. You don't have to.
You're not understanding though. The kids need somebody to help them. We have to. We get away.
What he's saying is somebody has to be available there.
So we can't ignore the broken household. We cannot ignore a broken household. I don't care what nobody say. Every kid deserves.
Yeah, but if you fix the mind, the body,
and who does that?
The body will follow.
And who does that?
The thing I can't understand is, why can't everybody be right in their opinion? Why everybody can't be right?
I'm saying all the perspectives.
It's just not one opinion. Everybody is right, man.
Everybody has an opinion.
Okay. I see everybody's opinion.
And all your opinions are great.
I see all of it.
You can look at it on both sides of the coin. You guys have had a massive debate here. And I see very valid points in each and every one of you. Like John said, who's gonna do the educating? If the families if the homes are broken, if they're broken, Google it. There.
One person is not gonna educate our community. Or one
person. It starts with trying to come up with something to keep the families together. Like you said, grandparents, parents, 40 years, 60 years together, strong, a united force. We don't see that anymore. Barely 40 months do a couple stay together. They marry for the wrong reasons. When the turbulence come, one is gone or the other. And the children are left with one parent that has to do what they got to do to keep everything afloat. And who's going to do this educating? Who's going to be there for them to show them the way?
Sometimes they're not left with that, though, Donna. Sometimes they break up and then their parents are in a 20-year war over who's right about the kids. So it's no structure. They break up,
True.
So I'm not with him, so I'm going to keep daddy away from the kids. Or daddy got in and out of court. So they spent 4 or 5 years. Like me, I spent 2.5 years in and out of court with somebody that was a drug addict. Now, how does that work that the court allows me to have to go in and out for 2.5 years? Because they love the system the way it is. And if you don't start educating yourself and educating your people, you're going to keep being in this same downfall. And I'm telling you, you need to find people like Dr. Boyce Watkins. You need to find people like even the Nation of Islam. You need to find people like the Circle of CEOs. You need to find people like all these other guys that's doing that and educate yourself the way you need to be educated. Because you're going to keep being the dummy. We keep talking about going. How many people that went to Columbia University or New York University or went to Princeton or went to Harvard or went to Yale? Hell, we had a president that went to Harvard that every time they brought a black issue up, he shut it down. Why? Because he believed white is right.
Listen, you know, you mentioned about Columbia, but we're just talking about, let's just look at it. Like you said, hook up with these people, do all this so you can educate and teach your people. But the thing is, when we can cut our numbers down of our brothers being incarcerated, then we can have more teaching and education being brought about in our communities.
And
The bottom line is starting to mend back. See, the thing is, we as people have become so divided, it's ridiculous.
It's
because we
rate
just like anybody else. Just like Brother Keith said, because of his situation, people want to look at him a certain way, hold certain things, want him to wear a jacket that he had removed. You know, continue to please these things. We look at each other. The young lady wanted to talk about finances and choosing a person based on this. These are all the things. All these subjects we've been talking about. But until we become to where we can say, look, I'm committed in this race for you and I'm committed about this. What we got going on among people is so broken, it's ridiculous. But then
John,
we want to tease other nationalities. Comedians want to get up there with other nationalities and talk about how there'd be 20 of them living in this house together, but 20 of them be running that business or whatever they got going. You see, or they ride in these things because they're trying to do something with one another. I'm not saying it don't exist where folks is not trying to do nothing with one another, but the problem is until we understand, we in our own thing, we have a gender war in our own Black nation. We have a gender war. I don't need no woman. I don't need no man. I don't need this one, or what have you. And they're starting to go at each other based on gender now. You know, we're so divided.
Wow, you guys,
until we start coming together and teaching, then we can.
You know what? Y'all done made a documentary out of this show tonight.
Well, we got to get out their way. That's all. Y'all
done made a documentary.
I'm not gonna fight with people that don't understand it.
But we not fighting, Ben. It's just an opinion. No, I'm saying and everybody has one.
But see, the thing is,
I work with that
some don't understand because they ain't been told.
Going to somebody else.
Some don't understand because they ain't been told, and so it's for us to make sure. At least if I tell you once, if I at least told you, it's your decision to receive it. You see what I'm saying? Or
That's
reject
right.
it. Or reject it. So we can't say, oh, well, these people over here, they don't know nothing. Yeah, they probably don't
I
know
didn't say that,
because
man.
they,
I
no,
said
I'm
we
not
have to
saying that.
educate each other like that. We have to change the way we're educating our people so our people stop going to jail. So our people stop doing all this stuff. It's because they're training people off of TV shows. They're coming into our community off of TV doing this craziness. I was last night. I was at the fair. You seeing people dressing all crazy and provocative. You seeing young men acting like they women. You seeing all this stuff. You seeing women acting like they men. That why? Because that's what being perpetuated to us. We have to stop letting them perpetuate to
Okay,
us
well,
and start educating
I
our
hear you.
own.
I hear you. And you know what? What we're gonna have to
You.
do
Look,
is
that's
wrap
right.
it.
You got
We're
love.
gonna have to wrap it up
I love you.
off
I
the
love you,
show.
brother.
I'm gonna
I
let
love
y'all
you.
still
Yeah,
go.
I love you.
But
Love
right
you, brother.
now,
Love you, sister.
Yeah.
Love you, brothers.
Yeah, I hear you.
ladies and gentlemen, that's been viewing. This has been a really hot show tonight. Great debate, and I understand
Yeah.
that
Thanks
this is
for
a
sharing,
delicate
Brother John,
topic.
Brother Keith, Brother Jay.
And it ain't nothing wrong with having your opinions. Everybody has one. It's okay. We're not at war. We just sharing how we feel. That's all it is. And everybody is being heard and nobody's wrong.
You know, the main thing
Amen.
is what I like, and trust me, I will play the devil's advocate in a minute. But the one thing that I can say about everybody is concerned about the betterment of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we have so many of us who are against us, like the one young lady, Candace Owens. You know, we have to really, so to be a group of people who is for the betterment of us, every opinion, every direction it comes from, I don't care if it's in a corner, swept up under the rug or whatever, all of it must be exposed.
That's right.
Because this is where people get a better understanding.
Amen.
Keith is not going to be my yes man. I'm not going to be Ben's yes man. Garrett not going to be JJ yes man. And we not going to be your yes ma'am. You know, the thing is about, but the thing what I like is the fire for the betterment, you know, and that's the main thing.
Yes.
We don't hate each other. The thing is we want the best for us.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Amen. Amen.
Hard debate is not an argument.
No, it's not.
Debate.
It's not.
It's
And we want
debate.
everybody to know there's no argument on the Donna Smith show at all.
We just
We are family. We come together. We are opinionated. We have strong men, and ain't no women here today.
But let me
and
tell
a
you,
woman, a strong woman.
Hey, y'all remember in the OJ case when a couple of the lawyers for OJ kind of started arguing a little bit? You know, the dude was because
the two,
or whatever. But they got to debating over something.
And they worked it out. Yeah.
But see, and that's where they take. See, the thing, and this is what I would want to see that. I would want to see, you know, a couple of doctors arguing over the right answer before they go to cut me open. You know what I'm saying? Because it shows the passion.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It shows the passion. You don't stand on nothing you don't believe, right?
Right.
Amen.
So, you know, it shows the compassion, you know, and it's a real bit, for me, a lot of these subjects, it's a real benefit, not just for whoever listened or the person who sent the inquiry, but for all of us, you know.
Yeah, as an individual, it's a team, for everybody viewing, this is therapeutic for us all. This is why I enjoy so much bringing these topics, and they go all over the place because they're real life. They're real. And the passion behind it, like John said, you give that passion, those opinions. I know JJ didn't get to really get in there too much about it because y'all just
I was learning.
Garuth was clapping
learning.
in the background because he was
Learn
like,
at the same
yes,
time.
yes,
I was
yes.
learning too,
But
JJ.
it's all good. This is what I love. We're going to invite you all to join us next week on Sunday. What is next Sunday's date? Which is the 20th. For some more grown folk talk and discussion. We have enjoyed each and every one of you viewing the show tonight. If you have any discussion topics that you would like, please put them in the chat on YouTube live. Also, if you'd like to reach out to me individually, DGRIER12,000@yahoo.com. If you have any inquiring minds, want to know questions that you'd like us to bring to the table, like many come to me about, please do so. We love discussing it, seeing what other people think. And I want to thank everybody for joining in today. It has been a great show. Thank you to my panel as well. Let's say goodbye, y'all.
Hey, man.
Goodbye.